This is the terrible Smurfs 2025. A movie that starts off completely retreading what the early 2010 movies already did, and legitimately ends up ripping off Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvel multiverse saga in general. I am not kidding. Just you wait. Out went Sony as the long-term collaborator with the Smurfs brand, and in came Paramount to take the reins of an already low bar. Not Nickelodeon movies as initially promoted, as apparently they pulled out for, unknown reasons.
Right.
A bar that has been left so low by the previous movies that making one that was at least slightly better seemed to be the bare minimum. Yet with all the political acrobatics that Paramount have been doing for their Skydance merger, we probably should have guessed that they'd be able to limbo under the low bar quite easily. And bafflingly, this might be the film with simultaneously the best animation and the worst of everything else. It is the most 2025 movie, if you ask me. So today we're gonna go through this whole thing and work out just what went wrong here. We begin with the old, warm narrator voice covers up the exposition routine, introducing the Smurfs universe version of the Infinity Stones. Except crystals and gems would be too obvious, so they've changed objects.
In the beginning, 4 magic books.
And having gone into this with Influencer Smurf still fresh in my head, as we go to the silhouettes of 4 ancient wizards casting green magic and chanting, I gotta be honest, I was taken pretty off guard. Like, Smurfs 2025 kicks off with some straight up lore, and it's all invented for this movie.
Shanti Grimoire got away.
That's me. Cha-cha-cha.
Okay, that cha-cha-cha seems like a bit of a rogue addition there. But we'll see where this is going.
Group of mighty blue guardians.
What?
One thing that is immediately apparent is the animation is looking particularly crisp. Like, credit where credit's due. And from these early stages, it seems like they are in the business of upping the stakes beyond any other Smurfs movie with this premise.
The fate of the universe depended on it.
The fate of the universe depends on the Smurfs. Clearly, someone's watched an Avengers movie since the last Smurfs pitch. Like what, is Gargamel gonna be unaliving half of the cast by the end of this one? Well, I know who's dead first.
Influencer.
I say this, but the first scene has the stakes of the universe with, like, the tone of Dora the Explorer.
I'm in Smurf Village. I'm the map!
I'm just waiting for a giant arrow to come floating in. From these universe-dependent stakes, we enter Smurf Village with that all-but-familiar theme song. And after the modern pop version we heard in the Sony movies, it's refreshing to just hear a little bit of "Sing a happy song."
Check this out.
Ah, never mind. Yeah, with all the energy of a 2004 kids movie, we go to Papa Smurf on the decks with some fresh tunes for Gen Alpha. Yeah, we're quick to get the Rihanna presence in this movie known, and considering they do have her on board, it makes sense, but it doesn't stop the fact that the song and Smurfs imagery that it's sat in are just not natural bedfellows. I mean, the editing is clearly trying to match the energy of the song with quick cuts, but it just looks really weird.
Look good on me, good on you.
Like, there are so many quick cuts going on that it actually hurts my eyes a little bit. Cutting to each of the characters with their name floating across the screen, it kind of feels like we've opened with the end credits, just without any real people's names. And to be fair, with the way they were marketing the Smurfs movie, remember the old character posters? Half of them didn't actually have the cast names in them, so maybe it's not being piloted by real people. I shouldn't make those jokes, we're in the golden era of AI soon. Golden. Now, opening credits are a thing that can absolutely work in movies, but they are distinctively different from just chucking the end credits in at the start of the movie. And despite the heavily promoted casting of Rihanna as Smurfette and opening with a pop song, they don't actually have Smurfette singing this.
I just started feeling cool.
Instead, it's an artist called Tyler. And hey, Rihanna is a producer on this, so maybe she's just trying to platform other artists. Not that I can really say Smurfs 2025 was the best opportunity for them on that front. You have these vocals playing whilst Rihanna's on-screen avatar for this incident's sake is just her smiling at the camera and dancing along with it. Actually, they're all staring at the camera throughout this. It's kind of unsettling. You know what? Actually, It's worse than it being like an end credit sequence. I wouldn't even call this a music video. What this feels like is the official lyrics video that they'd put on YouTube. Just swap out the Smurf names for the song lyrics, or lack thereof, and there you have it. In fact, I checked the actual lyrics on her channel, and that's basically what they've done. The lyrics video is predominantly this opening scene, slightly recut, which is impressive considering how many quick cuts they actually have as it is. So yes, from just this opening dance sequence, I already feel ill. But hey, at least in the movie, it's only using the first verse and the chorus, and then it heads out. Particularly as this is just a pop song from the soundtrack and not a full-on music number. Oh wait, no, we're going in for verse 2 now, which literally starts with the lyrics, "I'm still here."
I'm still here with
We have almost a full 3 minutes of Everything Goes with Blue. Immediately followed by the exact dialogue you'd expect from the movie we were promised.
Now that's what I call a banger.
I'm almost surprised another Smurf didn't reply, "And now you can stream Everything Goes with Blue on all major platforms." But okay, here we go. This is where we meet our real protagonist, No Name Smurf,
But you almost had it this time, no name.
who you can guess is gonna have the Emmett from the Lego Movie kind of vibe to him. Except, instead of Chris Pratt voicing him, we have the other plague to every voice acting gig in the industry. It's the lovable everyman, James Corden. Honestly, it's the only way it could have been worse.
Papa Smurf, quick follow-up, if I may.
From Peter Rabbit to the hand emoji in Emoji Movie, you can always rely on this guy to sound the exact same in everything he does, and coming with an attitude in behind the scenes. Although this time, notice that No Name is basically the main character for this movie, yet you wouldn't be blamed for not knowing that Corden was even in this movie in the first place. They literally hid him in the marketing. What does that say? So No Name's big problem for this movie is...
I still don't have a thing.
I mean, the role of Influencer Smurf suddenly became vacant. Oh, turns out you did actually try this out. And just in case their names floating across the screen wasn't enough, we now have the pleasure of James Corden just listing all of them off for us again. Though admittedly, I did quite like this one.
How to focus Smurf.
Wow, a decent joke. I guess it's a good movie now. Why couldn't we get more of him on screen? I just want him to constantly be in shots but out of focus. To be fair, there's actually a decent couple of gags like the way out there Smurf and the quiet Smurf.
What did he say?
Ish. Diminishing returns, but hey, at least they've got jokes when they're not doing the main plot. Though the issue is that whilst there are a couple of decent bits here and there, James Corden's vocal delivery, what do you know, makes a wet fart out of these bits.
Hey, sound effects Smurf, can you back off?
Like, most actors could make that line funny, but instead it just sounds kind of awkward. And not intentionally. I can't even say he's phoning it in. I think this is him trying. But whilst most of the cast are playing their characters, it feels like Corden says his name's lines like he's narrating the dialogue of a children's book. And considering his performance sticks out like this, it's become a bit of an issue when he's the main character. Marketing, why have you forsaken us? You could have told us, you could have warned us, man.
We don't have a magic Smurf around here.
It just sounds out of place to me. And he's not alone on that front.
That's a great idea, Papa Smurf.
Because yes, the person that they did give top billing doesn't really do a great job either. Nor does she have a lot of lines, as we'll soon see why. Which does also make you feel like the marketing was a tad misleading. But then you realize Rihanna is the producer behind this movie, so maybe she would be the type to put herself front and center in the marketing. Also, in this version anyway, Smurfs apparently can't do magic, leaving No Name to try clog making, which every Smurf is on hand to watch. No pressure, buddy.
Just take your time, no name. Don't rush it.
And as the rules of general comedy scenes go, this gig doesn't work out for him. And I personally hope that every kid that watched this left the movie thinking, if you want to do something, try it once and then give up after the first go. Because that's literally what happens here. Thankfully, Smurfette is on hand to pick Smurf berries with him. Our first reminder that everything in this Smurf's world has to have the word Smurf put on the end of it. And considering we now have the two most talented cast members together for a scene, you're gonna expect zingy dialogue like this one.
So how do you handle that, Smurfette?
Man thinks he's still interviewing on The Late Late Show, clearly.
Welcome back.
This exchange is just chock full of agonizing stuff. And sure, this is very much a kids' leading movie, but do they deserve this level of fluff?
I cherish us.
I cherish us too.
Meant to sound cute. In actuality, it sounds awkward. Which seems like the perfect opportunity to give James Corden
Why is that so hard for me?
a song number. It's No Names, Who Am I / Where Do I Belong beat of the movie, and if you think they're gonna spell that out to us,
Who am I? Where do I belong?
yeah, you'd be right. Also, 2 songs in, still none involving Rihanna. And there is not one line of this number that isn't a cliche. We can't include the whole song because of copyright issues, obviously, so I'll just list them for you, shall I? Who am I? Where do I belong? Heavy heart, searching for the answers. But I'm only moving backwards. Does happy ever after ever really happen? I'm always on the outside, looking in. I need a chance to prove them wrong. And so on, and so on, and so on. To be fair, he does sing the song well. The song's just not that good. Putting the karaoke in carpool karaoke. Anyway, whilst No Name's singing all of that, the book from the opening exposition's watching him from a bush.
It's in you. You just need a little help.
And remember the thing about being a magical Smurf? Well,
What's happening?
yeah, he's Magic Smurf now.
What the show?
But as he goes over to show Grandpa Smurf, that doesn't go so well, with him opening up a dimensional portal in the sky.
That's what I'm talking about.
But again, it is strikingly well animated for what this movie is. But turns out there's a guy monitoring the situation, that being Gargamel's brother, Razamel. Both brothers being voiced by, shock horror, an actual voice actor.
Gargamel? Absolutely not.
I mean, even in live action with Hank Azaria, he was played by a voice actor, weirdly enough, so I guess it's kind of traditional. Voice actor is the villain, and pop star is Smurfette. That's just how they do it. As we saw with the quick cuts in the opening, rushed pacing is also just how they do it here. And so Razamel's immediately on the scene within seconds of No Name doing the thing.
He found us. There's so much I didn't tell you.
Basically, no build-up. Within a minute, we've gone from villain being woken up to Papa Smurf being sucked into his interdimensional butthole. The pace is just absolutely all over the shop, as is the dialogue.
You got Papa snatched.
Is it just me who can never get on board with these Smurf puns that you can't even call puns? By the way, Razamel is like a new character addition for this movie just to complicate the ensemble cast even more. But Gargamel is also in this movie. So let's now go over to actual Gargamel, who's just trying to get on with some cooking when the Smurfs decide to bother them.
You're such a delight, my furry angel.
To be fair, the Smurfs deserve to get their own back, if anything.
What did you do with Papa?
And it's then, after elaborately kidnapping their biggest threat, that they do the thing Papa Smurf said to do first. Time for another sequence of Smurfs getting sucked into an orifice. At least someone out there is happy.
I hate being eaten by a granny bone.
Anyway, onto this milk-laden version of the Mario Kart Rainbow Road. Somebody watched the Mario movie since this Smurfs pitch.
We're obviously in some kind of non-Newtonian portal.
Once again showcasing that the animation is mightier than the movie it's animating. This was actually released under the Paramount Animation label, which has actually only been a thing since 2011, following the success of Rango. Remember that movie? Oh, gold. Now, it does seem to be more of a loose label rather than a studio, as they have everything from this to the Paw Patrol movies, to Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, to the upcoming Angry Birds 3 that they also adopted from Sony. That's a great sign. Bet they're feeling great about that, following what they got out of this acquisition. But yes, it's now time to reach the real world segment of the movie. A bold narrative choice that we've never seen in a Smurfs movie before. This is the 3rd time they've done it, landing in Paris for the 2nd time.
Where are we?
Paris.
How'd you know that, Smurfette?
I played these games before!
And yes, they literally repeat the setting of the 2nd movie. We are now 2 for 2, and similarly, the marketing was just completely butchered. Do you remember back when the trailers for this movie came out? I mean, for one, almost solely relying on Rihanna voicing Smurfette as a selling point, as if we're still in the early 2000s where celebrity voice acting was front and center and the sole thing for getting box office tickets sold, is baffling enough on its own. I mean, we still have star-studded voice acting casts today, but you can't exactly rely on that to be a single thing to sell your movie anymore. Obviously. It's like saying that you think Super Mario movie succeeded because Chris Pratt was Mario.
I'm distracting you, big turd blossom.
And same with Garfield, I guess. But of course, that's not even the thing that we all took from the original Smurfs trailers, did we? Lest we forget a character who became sort of an internet punching bag added to the collection that they actually ended up cutting out of the movie. He didn't appear, did you notice that? Rest in peace, Influencer Smurf. Sort of a pointless movie, if you ask me, though, because, you know, the damage was already done by the trailer. I mean, if anything, the few people who did show up to this would have been the people sold on it from the trailers. I was there. I couldn't wait for Influencer Smurf. In an ironic sense. Still a ticket. But it turns out, few was definitely the word to describe the people that came to this movie. The movie made $120 million worldwide. The lowest grossing of all the Smurf movies. Lower than any of the Sony releases, including the 2017 animated effort, Smurfs The Lost Village. It did make double its production budget though, with that being just $58 million, so well done. Anyway, that's too much of the real world. Let's go back into the Smurfs version of the real world.
Paris.
How'd you know that, Smurfette?
I just watched 2013's Smurf 2, buddy. She was the main character there and had a whole emo arc, it turns out. We'll do a terrible one day. Bold of them to not even have the backbone to choose another city for this. And sure, they're not exactly here for the whole movie, but I feel like asking for a little bit more variety isn't the biggest ask. Right, well, as our heroes are busy recycling a previous plot, Razanel goes to visit his fellow book wizards, along with yet more modern pop culture humor. Somebody's watched Shrek since the last Smurfs pitch.
We cannot tell you.
Never mind, this is a much more generic gag, which, as the interaction goes on, turns out to be more than just a reference.
Joel, I'm on a very important Zoom.
It's giving like Hoppers outright saying Avatar in their trailer, you know? Also, I don't really know how to address this properly, but what is with these character designs, right? Already, they're of course new for the movie as well. 3 more characters to add to the roster. But this guy, right? Why did they do this? You might think I'm over-extrapolating to say that this guy is clearly a reflection, a mimic, a duplicate for some reason of, and I'm not kidding, Asmongold. I mean, look at him. The visuals is uncanny. But also, even his name is Asmodeus, I think. He is literally Why did they put Asmongold in this movie? Like, sure, I can understand logistics of, oh, you make him a villain. He's kind of gross and slimy. You know, we know his branding. Why did they do that? And it's not even the last time they do that. There's another YouTuber in this movie. Why? I don't understand. Is it just like, were they running and gunning for like the ironic, terrible audience? Is it just a cheap knockoff to try and get more views? Hopping on what kids like? And they chose Asmongold? Both the visuals and the pop culture references don't end there.
Why wouldn't I use my podcast microphones for my Zooms?
But that being said, the interactions between Razamel and his PA Joel here are the stronger parts of the movie. I mean, for one, the lines are actually being delivered by competent vocal performers, which always helps. But bits like this are genuinely pretty solid.
Look at him, Joel. Would a book fit into a miniature man's pockets?
You can tell there's some strong voice work going on here. I guess it's more apparent after being subjected to the otherwise for a good chunk of this movie. But also, Joel here. This is just JacksFilms now. Why? I know this movie's trying to pretend like it's a 2010 movie. The choices behind this movie and its marketing are absolutely baffling, and I love how, in an ironic, terrible sense, when you go back to the character posters for this movie, when they showed up Joel, they didn't even add like a jokey line to his little subheading. It just says he's so cringe. That's just an insult, and it's so clearly JacksFilm. It's the headset and everything. Like, it's... Oh, God, it's so baffling, man. This movie is such an enigma. I can't wait for the sequel. Who do you think they're going to chuck in it next? Because they're clearly going for slightly more niche picks. You know, this isn't a Mr. Beast cameo. That's for Angry Birds 3. They've already got him. God, is it the label's fault? Whatever, man. Weird tangent. Ironically, though, brings me some of the most joy that this whole movie can give me. What the hell are they doing, man? But at least going back to the voice acting front, let's try and ground ourselves back to this god-awful movie again. Sometimes the performance is actually pretty good, particularly when Gargamel's brought in here, as you then have the same voice actor talking to himself. that being J.P. Karliak, as both Gargamel and Razamel. Why is the Gargamel casting always the strongest part? It's funny, as clearly this was a casting choice based on the fact that they're brothers, yet he's doing such a good job that they don't sound alike at all.
Gargamel.
Razamel, you found me.
You know, we'll take what we can get. At least one good guy, great. Though I'm sorry now, we have to pull away from the glossy animation again, back to the dull, dreary city lighting of real-world Paris. Ugh.
A dog's bark is worse than its bite.
Honestly, you could cut this sequence into the 2013 movie and no one would notice. Like, was that the point? And just like in that movie, there's even another dark subdivision of Smurfs based in Paris. They've cemented that lore now.
Who are these guys?
City Smurfs.
And it seems like this, where the simplicity of some of the dialogue really sticks out.
Where's Papa? He told us to find Ken.
We'll take you to him.
Like, what a dynamically written chat. Anyway, time for the Smurfs to go clubbing via some people's real-life feet. Well, they get up the stairs on some feet with a system that's clearly working, only to dismount just before they go in.
Avoid feet.
Also, finally, we have an actual Rihanna song in this movie that heavily billed her name. And it's one of her old ones from 2007. In a movie that lent on featuring original songs from Rihanna. And there's two of them. Considering she produced this movie, you'd think a real draw to it would have been her doing a Pharrell-style soundtrack to it. I mean, it wouldn't have made the movie any better, but, you know, at least you could see that there would have been a selling point to having some cute visuals alongside some new Rihanna music. The same reason I suspect the only people that went to the Tron Legacy movie was to see the new 9 Inch Nails soundtrack, not Jared Leto, you know? Anyway, they fully highlight that they got around to at least a Rihanna song with some flashing shots of them making derpy moves on the dance floor. It's classic characters in the modern world stuff. You know, it can be fun in its own cliche ways, and then they rip you right out of it immediately with this apparent riding of a tray of cocktails without anyone noticing. Like, come on, man. This is Toy Story logic. Make it, you know, a secret. Quite fitting that they're using a song from 2007, actually, considering this movie's premise, really. It was already a tired plot device by the time the first Smurfs movie in 2011. I guess at least they got the character designs right this time. Ugh. There was something inherently creepy about them in the Neil Patrick Harris movies. But no, in this live-action setting, there is a distinct lack of human faces, which can look cool in them being in their own small-scale world moving through the forest with legs towering over them, but also saves money on the on-screen actor fees when you have just a bunch of blurred-out background actors, eh? Tactical. This movie only cost $58. One detail I do like, though, is that the secret lairs in the disco ball. Am I just giving points for occasional dashes of creativity now? Because here we are in some blue rendition of the Inside Out headquarters.
Where's Ken?
I'm right here.
Yeah, and that is Nick Offerman. I would say he's the guy I'm happy uses the same voice for everything, but to be fair to him, I had no idea he was the voice of Captain Metalbeard in the Lego movie until a good few years ago. So him using his best-known deadpan voice is really a typecasting situation, if anything, really. And it turns out that Ken here is Papa Smurf's brother. Again, original for this movie. Add it to the ensemble collection.
We didn't even know Papa Smurf had a brother.
Hey there, thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more terrible animated movies. This might be one of the worst of the year, but we'll be covering more 2025 movies through the rest of this year. On to the second half of Terrible Smurfs 2025.
We didn't even know Papa Smurf had a brother.
And then some attempt at comedy happens, but it's basically just milking as much out of repeating the word Smurf as humanly possible. Hilarious.
Probably personally smurfed more than you'll ever smurf.
Could you shut the Smurf up, please, you Smurf? Damn, I only wanted to use the C word as a Smurf word there, but when you say Smurf, it could be any of them, so it kind of takes the power away. You might just think I'm saying the B word. I intended the C word in that line. Man, even when you try and make a starker joke about it, it loses its power. This gag sucks. And this exchanging of Smurf insertions lasts well over a minute of all the characters just chipping in with their own Smurf gags. But sure, it's this movie's bread and butter, even if it's not funny.
Smurf that. I don't like his smurfitude.
And just to extend this clash of bad jokes, we have Rihanna's Smurfette reprise her use of infinity in sentences, trying to frame the cringe "I cherish you infinity" line as some kind of joke to knowingly call back to.
Ditto infinity times infinity plus 6. I win.
Someone want to crack open the canned laughter from Big Bang Theory? Anyway, having got the attempts at humor out of their system, they finally unpause the story so Ken can do his exposition. This movie's an hour and 32 minutes, they needed that padding. Only interjected by the James Corden Smurf to make it not seem like the info dump that it is.
Wizard Razamel.
How do you know that?
I'm also pretty sure this has been No Name's first line in well over 10 minutes. Like, wasn't he the main character earlier? I don't know, who needs focused lead characters? We can just go along with the central group of Smurfs being one blue blob that speaks with a different mouth every now and again. I'm sure the writers just threw a dice with the Smurf's name on it to decide who says what line when. There's also some attempts at messaging like this.
It means doing something for the love of it. And that's me.
All that line really did is make me realize I have no idea who Smurfette is as a character. They gave No Name a hard time for not having a thing, but what does Smurfette do? Identity-wise, she's literally just girl. Also, does this line really make sense when they're talking about saving Papa Smurf? Isn't it more doing it to save Papa Smurf, not doing it for the love of infiltrating a super wizard? What's going on with this movie, man? Whatever, I guess it's time to throw in more Smurfs lore original to this movie.
Smurfs are descendants of mighty guardians.
Bunch of jackasses standing in a circle.
Yeah, the books are back in the mix now. Did you forget about those? And it turns out that's why Smurfs exist now. Who knew? I thought they were just a society of blue gnomes doing their own thing. Wild that they once had mighty guardians and Influencer Smurf in the same movie at one point. Anyway, the back and forth of we're going, you're not going ends with them going. All at the hand of No Name trying to manifest his magic Smurf persona, but presently being performance issues Smurf instead.
My magic confidence is at a soft 4 right now.
Just so we can have him struggling for a second over these magic powers and their ambiguous level of difficulty. Before we get the thing, he's clearly there to serve the story actually for. His whole character arc in this movie is literally getting the characters from A to B. Cue the most out of nowhere response.
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
You need some serious therapy.
Yeah, sure, those two lines work together. It's like those lines were originally recorded for different parts of the script and then just smashed together.
Well, they're all going to die.
Meanwhile, we have more family drama.
You blocked me? Why? We can discuss all of this brotherly business later.
For like a minute anyway, to establish the Smurfs were deflected from the castle, before we cut back to the Smurfs falling out of the sky for more witty dialogue. Ah, I love this one.
I think I just smurfed my pants.
Thanks for that. What word do you think he was replacing? Because there's like 3 options. And they all survived this fall because they... So remember that, next time you're falling out of a building, just hug the walls. That won't scrape all of your skin off. Leaving us in the next setting all of these live-action hybrid movies seem to go for, that being a remote wasteland.
This isn't Fresno's castle.
That's because it's not.
In fact, Paramount Animation did it literally in the previous year with the god-awful Sandy Cheeks movie too. So I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't the exact same footage to just superimpose the Smurfs into instead. Man, they're just on a round of lazy cartoons in real-world movies at the moment, aren't they? Paramount's clearly bottom tier for a reason. Anyway, the remote wasteland this time has been redressed from Texas to the Australian outback. The perfect stage for more generic lines delivered by James Corden.
No, I got us into this mess.
Cueing us to our next sequence with a pile of Smurfs falling into a secret lair. This is the lair of the snooter poots.
Snooter poots.
Snooter poots?
Is there an echo in here?
Mama poot. Am I that predictable?
Oh boy, another revelation for this new Smurfs lore original. Because it's not just Infinity Stones that they've been ripping on for this movie. Not only are there now whatever the hell these things are,
Snooter poots.
but also the Smurfs franchise officially has a multiverse going on too now.
Every Yahoo thinks they can navigate the multiverse these days.
The multiverse.
Somebody watched Spider-Verse since the last Smurfs pitch. They really did just watch some MCU movies and think, oh, we'll do that with the Smurfs. If anything, I'm just surprised they haven't had a line calling it the multi-Smurf yet. Like, is that not extremely obvious? Time for No Name to have his next Emmett moment.
We've got a magic Smurf. Maybe he can stop those wizards.
And the fluffball lady explaining the universe-destroying stakes this movie has decided to go for, old Smurf Corden runs away from.
How are you gonna handle that? No name.
It's time for another heart-to-heart between the two voice-acting heavyweights.
I don't have it in me, Smurfette.
Yeah, you can say that again, James. Now we've remembered this guy was the half-baked protagonist, we have the obligatory self-doubt scene. The big proclamations of, they were right, I can't do this, and all the rest of that junk, which are a tired movie trope at the best of times. But here, we also have the added hurdle that it's James Corden and Rihanna performing it, which leads to, well...
That voice will go away.
I know what's on your mind.
Okay. Perhaps one of the most abrupt needle drops of all time. Well, I've been calling for Rihanna-voiced Smurfette to actually sing, so I guess we're finally getting it. Out of nowhere. And it's weird because despite both the dialogue and singing being recorded in a sound booth, you still have that clear switch you see in movie musicals where the voice switches to the pre-recorded audio. It also just doesn't work as well as an all-out musical number, as this is very much just a pop song inserted into this movie. And again, the visuals are cute and well animated, but what the hell is going on? Smurfette leads No Name up a rock while singing at him, and then coerces him into jumping into a pond that becomes a space dimension that they float through like Eve and Wall-E. What? Considering they've introduced the damn multiverse into this movie as well, at this point, it's hard to say what's literal and what's metaphorical, like those abstract sequences in Disney song numbers.
Saying at anyone.
Is this like that, or another dimension door that this Australian outback is apparently full of? Although I would explain why Australia is full of so many cursed animals. These ambiguous space scenes are nonetheless spectacularly animated, and I'm excited to see some better movies made with the animation on display here. And then... she's singing at him, but now they're in a kangaroo pouch. The kangaroos themselves, less convincingly animated.
The part with the kangaroos was a little weird, though.
Meanwhile, while we took a breather for this new Rihanna single, Razamel's abduction of the rest of the cast happens off screen. $58 million budget for a reason.
Razamel took 2 of my snooter poots and the rest of you Smurfs.
But maybe, seems as we only heard from her, this is Razamel in disguise trying to trick them, you know?
No idea.
That'd be a plot twist. No. It's literally her, and they really did just narratively jump over that whole sequence. The kangaroo was apparently worth it.
Buckle up! Hold on, you little Smurf nubs!
I beg your pardon.
Into yet another shockingly well-animated sequence with a generic pop song over it. It's a format. And it sounds like another new Rihanna song in the space of 5 minutes, after having none for the first stretch of the movie. And just to confirm that there is no twist to this.
A group of Smurfs? A troop? A murder?
Well, it's out of here, Razamel.
And I'm assuming there's some sort of parallel attempted here, what with us being introduced to a brother for both Papa Smurf and Gargamel, you know? We'll see how that plays out. For now, let's appreciate J.P. Carliak's delivery while we can of this line.
Move these fetid, degenerate goblins to the squishadrome.
Razamel really is the rose in this bush of blue thorns. Also, gotta appreciate they go for a can you give us a minute scene where Papa Smurf and Ken attempt a private conversation whilst everyone's already trapped under the same jar.
Who's Ron?
Huh, that's almost funny in its own way. Meanwhile, the globe-trotting live-action portion has now reached Germany. Did the writers look at a map before planning this one out? Who cares? France, Australia, Germany. Alright, I guess they got rid of the draft where they landed in North Korea and met King Jong Smurf. But anyway, turns out that's where Razamel's castle is.
He thinks it's so spooky.
Wouldn't like Transylvania make more sense? But before we can get any closer, we have yet another scene of debating over the plan. Man, we've gone to this well a lot. Ending up with a plan to sneak in via food delivery. Ugh.
God, please, no!
Your food is here.
No!
complete with a helmet-covered extra for this movie's bizarre, no human faces motif. Again, I'm concerned it was a cost-cutting measure. Along with what feels like a commercial sponsor, without a specific brand being tied to it.
So you can just order any kind of food from anywhere.
The debate is if it's DoorDash or Uber Eats, or Just Eat if you're in the UK. I can't help but feel like they shopped this scene out to all major delivery brands and no one bit. I even looked up the one featured, since maybe I'm just a Brit that doesn't get it. Apparently it's just not a thing. Neither's the Wizard Brothers' dad.
Dada's own. This is Dada.
And again, the best bits of this movie are literally just JP Carliak talking to himself. And I'm sure he got paid a quarter of the amount all the big names got for double the parts.
We're going to watch the Smurfs get squashed.
Meanwhile, in the bag, they're having a game of who ate all the fries. What a story.
I love salty potato-based treats, and I will not apologize for that.
Before we go back to Razamel's Smurf squishing machine, which, considering all his modern technology references, probably stems from an addiction to hydraulic press videos, to which he crushes Joel's hand. Considering as well this is the knockoff YouTuber insert, this just feels black-hearted and weird. This is the perfect bait movie to have the same kind of lead-up and dunking as Emoji Movie, something JacksFilms very much took part in back in the day. So I guess they were capitalizing on that, and then in the same breath, taking out their anger on the imaginative critiquing from him? What is this, man? Why can't you just spend your time and make a good movie instead?
Oh, good, it works. First Smurf, please.
Well, at least our three heroes are here with more lame passages of dialogue.
Let's go smurf that wizard up.
I'm neutral at this point. I've been so exposed to Smurf lines that it's just going straight over me now. One thing that doesn't go over me though is how Razamel completely contradicts his own plan here. Having proclaimed that he will squash one Smurf at a time until Papa Smurf gives him the location of the book, which makes sense as the guy's weak spot is clearly the lives of his beloved Smurfs, one scene later, and who's the first one he goes for? Papa Smurf! Why?
Last chance, Papa.
The one guy who knows where the damn book is, and you're gonna squash him first? How dumb do you think these children watching a movie are?
We're here to save everything.
To which Razamel summarizes this movie's decision in a nutshell.
Those are dated moves for such a bold entrance.
And then a conveniently inconvenient thing happens. Because it turns out the book has been ratatouilleing the situation under No Name's hat the whole time. This all-powerful book, who outs herself at the specifically worst moment by sneezing. May as well get the next no-name self-doubting scene started now, but we have no time for that.
Were you doing the magic?
Yeah, kinda.
Oh wait, we do have time for that apparently. Just have it out whilst both main villains are just stood there, sure. Full 2-minute heart-to-heart whilst everyone else in the room pauses.
You just gotta let it out.
Not like Razamel getting this book sounds like the end of the universe. Meanwhile, seeing as we're having the personal moment, Razamel takes the opportunity to whip out the family album to give Smurfette an emotional arc too.
Here you are when you were clay.
The Smurfs lore is weird, man.
You brought me Papa Smurf and Jaunty.
Cool! Time to end the universe!
I am Grimoire.
I am Steve.
And just as you thought Razamel wasn't evil enough, he throws this in as well.
Mother never respected you. Oh, you stupid cat.
Diabolical. It's time for the all is lost scene.
I'm gonna miss you guys.
Sorry, Paramount. You hit us way harder with SpongeBob and Patrick under that lamp back in 2004. Thankfully, Gargamel initiates a climactic truce with the Smurfs.
I may loathe the Smurfs, but I loathe my brother more.
A moment of rebellion that quickly leads to some weird visuals.
I'm going to need a bigger litter box.
Yeah, the cat's a flying lion now. And the whole gang go for a ride to stop the end of the universe.
My sweet Azrael.
Again, yes, that is really the stakes of Smurfs 2025, which is kind of hard to imagine with this sequence in there too.
Assume crash positions.
As they crash into a car and then fly through a bounty castle and birthday pretzel. Just to really hammer home we're in a caricature of Germany. And is it just me, or is it kind of weird that they have live action humans and animated humans coexisting in this universe? Forget about it. We've got another unconvincing self-doubt scene, courtesy of Mr. J. Corden. Let me guess, if I hadn't been so selfish, none of us would be here?
If I hadn't been so selfish, none of us would be here.
Yeah, I thought so. It's quite impressive. We've now had 3 generic self-pity scenes from this character. I give movies a hard time for having one scene like this. That's a whole lot of runtime spent on this guy saying some variation of I was wrong and everyone was right. Again, it's an hour and 32 minutes. They needed that extra. There's no substance to this movie other than 2D flat ensemble characters. Oh, but no, this time you have everyone else around to take turns of saying it's their fault.
It's not your fault, No Name. And it certainly isn't yours, Smurfette.
Oh my god, just make up your mind! I'm annoyed enough at the wide shots where the characters are very obviously superimposed onto live action grass. And it's here we learn Papa Smurf and Ken's alluded to friend Ron. Which, if anything, is funny to see Papa be the odd one out in that friend group. Maybe his real name's Tim or something. Naturally, it's time for a flashback sequence. Back to a time where Papa Smurf is still old. As for Ron himself, he's this guy with the Prince Charming hair.
And really, really great hair.
Somebody watched the old Thor movies since the last Smurfs pitch, eh? We then have an action sequence where Ron literally has Captain America's shield with all the same power moves. Again, they've just ripped off MCU tropes with the Smurfs. Until the inevitable self-sacrifice beat, right down to the classic hanging off of a cliff edge.
Probably should have cut my hair.
Alas, he gets sucked into a vortex, leaving the door open for him to be alive as well, as, after all, this is a kid's movie. But that won't stop them piling yet more Smurfs lore into this new movie, delivered by the guy who was mixing the decks at the start of the movie.
It's time I told you about our higher calling.
What, is Smurf Jesus about to show up? Oh, no, he goes back over the Guardians thing Ken mentioned earlier.
We have always been protectors of peace and harmony.
Why are they raising the stakes of the damn Smurfs so high? Again, I can't believe Influencer Smurf was once in this movie. We had a damn influencer as the guardian of the universe. I'm all for movies switching tones and all, but this just seems to be all over the place.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this, Smurfs.
Man, does he want to lighten the mood with a bad Smurfs joke? Maybe in a minute. We need just one more reminder of the stakes.
Now let's get that book and save the universe!
I just did not anticipate that this would be the direction of a Smurfs movie. Kinda does make the other movies look quite tame now. At least the 2017 one kept it close to the scale of Little Smurf Villages, I guess. And once they've completed their little motivational save the universe speech, we're reminded that Gargamel's just been sat there the whole time, ready to keep this movie balanced and fun.
To the 9th dimension, the nexus of space and time.
Wow, it really didn't need to be this complicated. Legitimately, it goes from this line to them clumsily operating a car. Almost like they just remembered this is a trash kids movie. Only briefly, and then we're in the 9th dimension.
9th dimension.
Which this time is ripping off the TVA from Loki, with the business looking interdimensional rooms.
I have big news. Me and my book.
At this point, Marvel may need to plan out their lawsuit against the damn Smurfs. Pretty much even the same color scheme. The books looking like Infinity Stones at the start was one thing, but now they've just pulled from every trope on the MCU shelf. I repeat, in Smurfs 2025! Old Razzie Boy is quick to hijack the other wizards, asserting himself as the Thanos of the situation, before the dimensional office gets cracked open by Car. Time for another Marvel riff.
I'm already in hell. The Guardianaires of Good are here.
Stop it.
Because the Smurfs weren't enough, so now they're the Guardians of the Galaxy. But it's fine, because they say Guardianeers, completely different. And we go through the motions. Raz steals most of the Smurfs' souls, notwithstanding the 2 main characters who we've been dipping in and out of.
Don't give up, my precious Smurfs.
Smurfette does the I've always been on your side play.
Welcome home, sinister Smurf demon.
Clearly a trap, grabs the book, and actually it goes weird here. Because next on the Marvel laundry list is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And more relevantly, Spider-Verse vibes when it comes to the animation. And I hate to admit it, but I actually quite like this sequence. We now get an Aardman claymation dimension, a hand-drawn notebook dimension that's giving Diary of a Wimpy Kid vibes, and then of course, a video game dimension, racked up with the most generic piece of video game animation, with it literally just being somewhat 8-bit style, because you've got to remember the producers of this movie are in their 40s and 50s. Video games don't get any further than 8-bit, though apparently it is a reference to actual Smurf video games.
Oh no, I can only run from left to right.
Followed by a really well done, epic anime dimension. It's insane! It's just remarkably creative. You have an S-tier animation team working on an L-tier script in this movie. Gotta have a bit of Ant-Man in there now. So we enter a microscopic realm.
I'm a tardigrade.
Also, I just love in the marketing that the tardigrade was revealed as a character poster because it has a famous voice actor. And they did not clarify why or how or where. It's just what a gift this spoiler gave. All the way until we get to Smurf Village. Only not really, with this unsettling transformation from Papa Smurf to Razamel.
We're in the surreal dimension.
All leading us back to the place the scene started. A fun sequence that may as well have not happened, but I am actually glad it was there. Time for No Name's hero moment.
I'm not nothing.
Then who are you? Scooby? Scooby? Go!
Getting sparked by old Razzie Boy, we enter another surreal sequence.
Who are you?
Yeah, who?
Great, a spiritual realm with just us and James Corden. Dreams do come true. All building up to spiritual Papa Smurf to tell him he is Magic Smurf after all. Please end with another book coming from his hat again. I need this guy on a never-ending trauma cycle of self-value. Encapsulated by this very unconvincingly delivered line. Only the best from James Corden.
That's the difference between you and me. I'm not alone.
Seriously, how does he keep getting voice work? And the great power blow that defeats Razamel? Rihanna singing the Smurfs theme song. In fact, as everyone's resurrected, they all join in, one la at a time. And just as you think they're finished, we've got one more Corden-delivered masterclass.
Because we're the guardian ears of
The galaxy.
Huh, smacking butts to save the day now? Okay. No, the singing wasn't the end of it. We have one more sequence of magic blows being exchanged, which only further proves that the animation team was way too overqualified for this movie. And because Gardeneers of Good wasn't on the nose enough, they genuinely defeat Razamel with the Guardians of the Galaxy power move.
Unite in Smurfitude.
Like, you can't even argue that it's parodying it. Anyway, with that all put to bed, No Name finally sticks with the name Magic Smurf, because he immediately just randomly grew magic powers.
Give it up for Magic Smurfs.
By the way, we never mentioned it earlier. God, imagine being shoved into a water dispenser alongside Asmongold. Sorry, Asmodeus. I don't think I could picture a worse fate.
Very nice. Are you done now?
And as we're reaching up to our final climax, we can clearly see this movie has been an impeccably well animated pile of Smurf. I liked most of the animation, one or two voice actors' performances, and the interdimensional chase that proved narratively inconsequential. Everything else leaves me excited for myself in a year's time or so when I've actually forgotten about this movie. That's the true enjoyment you can get out of this thing. But anyway, summary over, let's hit that final mark. And because it has to have a complete happy ending...
Did somebody say Ron?
Yeah, Ron's back. You can't have genuine tragedy in a cute Smurfs movie, guys. Only the end of the universe at stake. Everyone reunited, we leave the 9th dimension and back to the Smurfs village. Remember when it was that simple? We have the obligatory final song number, everyone dancing together. Surprisingly, pretty rushed, like they wanted to end the movie as quickly as they do. And then eventually, finally, they spare us, and it's over. And that is the terrible Smurfs Movie oh, wait, never mind, not quite. They have to finish this parade of Marvel coding the Smurfs with a post-credit scene as well, even having the exact same music sting at the end.
We have unfinished business with those Smurfs.
And that really is the terrible Smurfs 2025. The most 2025 movie there ever was. Genuinely, such an emphasis on terrible. For now though, my name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell us your thoughts on Smurf 2025. Do you see it in cinemas? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and more. Dunk on it in the comments down below. And I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!